Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining our EPLAN Live channel here at the Rockwell Automation Fair at Home. We hope you're enjoying your day. Today, our conversation is focused around being partners in success. So today we have our guest, who is Jeff Kilburn, Managing Director from EPLAN, Özlem Bieber, who is Account Manager at EPLAN, and Jim Armstrong, who is the Automation Manager at Revere Electric. Revere Electric is a powerhouse distributor and partners of Rockwell Automation. So with that said, I'm going to go ahead and hand it over to the team to let them introduce themselves and get started.
Thank you. I'm Jim Armstrong, Automation Manager at Revere Electric.
Yeah, Jeff Kilburn here, EPLAN Managing Director, EPLAN USA.
And I'm Özlem Bieber, Account Manager at EPLAN USA. And I'll get us started here, and I'll start with you, Jim. EPLAN and Revere Electric has been partners for the better part of the year, and Revere Electric is actually EPLAN's one of first channel partners. And so for our audience, can you give us an introduction to Revere Electric and its mission?
Yeah, thanks, Özlem. Revere Electric is a fourth generation family-owned business, a distributor, electrical distributor with 10 locations. We serve Northern Illinois, primarily northeastern Illinois, Northwest Indiana, South Central Wisconsin, so kind of the Chicagoland, Milwaukee markets. We have a broad line of manufacturers, 300 plus manufacturing lines that we carry. One of our premier lines, and Debbie mentioned it at the core of the intro, is we're a authorized Rockwell Automation distributor. How we differentiate ourselves in the market is we're a solution-centric provider. Being that we're not a Rockwell distributor, automation is at our core, correct? But we also provide solutions on inventory management, motion control, safety, connected enterprise, green, and switchgear and lighting. So pretty broad base. And we serve a real mix of customers, OEMs, system integrators, and end users. Our mission at the end of the day is to deliver innovative, industry-leading, customer-centric solutions, really with our products and services to the industrial automation and electrical construction market. And we're excited to be a partner with EPLAN because our partnership with EPLAN, when you look at what I just said and how it fits into our value proposition to our customers, we're excited about that. And you're right, we've had a very exciting 6 months, kicking it off last spring, right? So very excited.
Absolutely, it's been a great ride for sure. And Jeff, I know you had a prior relationship with Revere Electric before coming to EPLAN during your 25-year successful tenure at Rockwell Automation. Can you tell us a little bit about what was your strategy for approaching to Revere Electric to become our channel partner, and why did you think that the two companies made a great match?
Yeah, well, I've known many of the great leaders at Revere Electric and for a long time, for virtually my entire career at Rockwell. And even in my time with sales, I got even tighter with them because I supported the state of Wisconsin and really got to know the organization as a whole. And so I had this, obviously this, pretty good impression of a highly valuable partner in the market. Revere is a premier organization. I think the whole market recognizes that. And certainly with EPLAN becoming one of the founding members of Rockwell's digital partner program, it really made a lot of sense to have a common partner in the market like Revere Electric. And having a relationship with a lot of their leaders just made it a natural place to start. And so we started talking with the team, I guess it was a year ago last summer. And as we started having the dialogue about the value that EPLAN provides to the customers in the automation market, and what Revere was trying to do and has been doing for a long time in the way of, virtually the support is unparalleled. It's virtually 24/7, 365, and they're a trusted partner of many customers in the market, and they're a market leading organization. I'd say a market making organization. And so for all of those reasons, it made sense strategically to discuss this with them. And as we went about that, one of the things that became evident very quickly was, and Jim can comment on this, I'm sure, is that Revere was already on the path of helping their customers figure out how to do this digital transformation. It's an overused term. Yeah, we all know that, but it's a fairly accurate state of the market. And there are a lot of customers are, we're seeing them recognize the value of EPLAN every day. But we just felt that with a partner like Revere, we could accelerate that effort. And with their relationships as a trusted partner in so many companies and their markets, that it was kind of a match made in heaven. And yeah, we signed the documents just as COVID hit. So lucky have it as it is. But I think it's still been a good start for us, and we're looking forward to the future. And I think for me, another piece of it was too just the whole, like I said, the Rockwell Digital Partner Program, but knowing the value. Rockwell's made a huge investment in their data sets within EPLAN on EPLAN Data Portal, and having a partner in Revere that can take the power of EPLAN, the power of the Rockwell data set, the value we can provide, and pulling it all together for a customer. And with their expertise and what they deliver in the automation space, with all their knowledge about Rockwell and how they help customers in the market, it just made sense. Yeah.
Well, we complement the data set by having specialists. We have multiples of specialists that support all the different Rockwell products alone. There's other products in the data portal as well, but there's product selection. There's access into the portal, but it's, we also help with the selection of the products that get put into the design, the supply of the products. I mentioned the 10 warehousing locations. So not only having a product in a design, but is it available, readily available, and we have questions about it, how to use it. That's sort of that partnership. I'm glad you brought up the digital partner program and all the technology that's coming out from PTC through Rockwell. We're still learning in that area a lot. I think all of our customers are learning, but we're really hoping and helping our customers lead. We're leading that dialogue with them to help move them down that digital journey. So we were excited that you approached this. I think it all kind of came to head a little bit last year at Automation Fair, with several discussions with your executive leadership and our executive leadership that I think really helped see what could be done. And like you said, we did a lot of work a year ago, a little less than a year ago, and then last spring hitting the ground running with a signed agreement. So. I did want to kind of make a comment that I do think that the partnership, I mentioned the solution sales focus beforehand. And one of the things that when we think about our customer base, we have a deep engagement with our customer base with 40 plus account managers, which is a pretty strong sales force. But in terms of our technical team, we have between the Milwaukee markets and Chicago markets, 30 plus automation specialists. So that's 70 some odd sales folks out there. And part of our task between myself and Jeff and Özlem on this phone is to really build that amplifier about what can be done. What can be done, what value can we bring to our customers given our combined efforts. So we're excited about it, and thank you for thinking of Revere and having these discussions, so that we're now partners in this market.
Absolutely. I know that data portal is a huge value to our customers in terms of saving them time when it comes to creating part data, and Rockwell being one of the major contributors to data portal, that's all the more, it makes that value all the more important for our customers. But there's one other aspect of our partnership that I think brings a good value and synergies to our customers, and that's the PLC data integration. And Jim, can you talk about a little bit how EPLAN and Revere Electric partnership actually helps our mutual customers with their PLC data integration and with hardware designs in EPLAN and PLC data integration in Studio 5000 and IAB.
So we have PLC specialists as being a Rockwell distributor, and so they're engineers that are in the market. They help customers every day determine what the appropriate hardware is, but also helping them with software. And what's kind of neat about EPLAN is it really ties in a couple elements of that PLC automation programming environment. One is integrated architecture builder. We call it IAB. That's an early step in a controls process where you select everything from your controller to your network devices. You can check network traffic, things like that, things of that nature. Well, EPLAN offers a link for IAB to be imported into EPLAN to give the hardware designer a head start into what those preliminary thoughts were into the actual hardware design. But what's cool, again, about EPLAN is while you're doing your hardware, you create your I/O and your tags, your physical links to the physical world, but those can get translated into Studio RS Logic's, the programming environment. And so what EPLAN does, along with with the Rockwell ties and our specialists, really kind of makes that a cohesive design process from concept to programming. And what's we're excited about is we have a plan at Revere, Robert Janosiak. He's our EPLAN specialist, EPLAN leader. But what's neat about the IAB linkage, or the IAB and the linkage with Logix, is that it also pulls in all of our PLC HMI folks. So the folks that are traditionally selling control logics, compact logics, panel views, and helping customers with programming, they're actually helping sell and helping support EPLAN with customers as well, because we're going to show, and we're showing customers how to save time throughout that whole process from concept to programming. I know Jeff mentions it, we talk about it before, that what we're excited about EPLAN is the whole from what do we call it, concept to commissioning, Jeff, is it? Or
Yep.
It helps that whole process out. And that, to me, is a great example of where the technologies help that out. The technology, but also the personal touch, the personal support from the wide range of specialists that we have.
And I think that's, to your point, Jim, that's really I think the power of working with Revere is that you guys can bring that whole value stream together with Rockwell and EPLAN. And, we can talk all day long. You can show the customers that you're there in geography. You've got the specialists with all of the knowledge, both on the Rockwell side as well as the EPLAN side now, with building up Robert's expertise. And you can really expand that reach to help the customers, from like you said, that initial concept to commissioning, even into a maintenance, and we've shown that, but you guys can really make it, I guess, jump off the page with the customer, that they can comprehend what we're talking about now. And it really expands, I think, and this was the interesting part when we approached you guys. It was interesting to see that you were already trying to do that, to reach earlier with the customers. You talked about selection, but there's this whole area of engineering of the design before it gets down to part selection that EPLAN can provide a lot of value. And now you guys can help the customers realize that. And, Rockwell calls it the digital thread. And I think there's value in that, because today, and for the last, I don't know how many decades I've been in this business, a long time, as have you, Jim, been doing this for a while. And, customers are using various tools, but there's often opportunities where You have to either translate it via it's, from the electrical design to the PLC design or back and forth, and keeping those in sync, even if you're the same person, is a real challenge. And having that connection between EPLAN and Studio 5000 or EPLAN and IAB on the planning side, we're able to make that bi-directional and adds tremendous value to customers that they don't have to worry is the PLC in sync with the electrical schematic design and vice versa. And I think you guys, again, you bring it all together for a customer and help them realize the value that we talk about every day here at ePlan.
Yeah,
For
that's
sure.
for sure. Because one of the comments that I frequently get from our customers is that, needless to say, the PLC code, right, the programming gets updated on the factory floor first, but then, updating the hardware designs kind of fall on the wayside, right? So even after installation and post-installation, this is a way for companies to synchronize their, again, hardware designs in ePlan and PLC programming in Studio 5000.
For sure. I mean, we could go on for an hour about all the other features, but I think that really hits home in terms of resonating about the features functionality within ePlan, but that tie into the whole system. That the system is bigger. So good. It's good, and we're excited about pushing the envelope there even further, and really helping folks that are using ePlan today to understand and gain that value. But also customers that aren't using ePlan to make them aware of benefits that they can gain by moving to ePlan.
Yeah. So ever since ePlan became an Encompass partner with Rockwell Automation back in 2008, this is the first year the automation fair is being held virtually. So it speaks to the times that we're operating in, right? A lot of companies, due to the pandemic, had to reevaluate every aspect of their business, how they're conducting their business, and find ways to, especially in our industry, find ways to cut time and cost in engineering design and panel build. Stay connected with their collaborators and all the stakeholders, and also continue to get vendor support when they need it and where they need it. So I know, Jeff, we had to pivot very quickly, didn't we, to adjust?
Yes, we did. Yeah, Aslam, it really, as we all know, it changed all our personal lives as well as our business lives, and we're still fighting our way through this this change. But as time's gone on, at first it was a kind of a very, not kind of, it was an extremely reactionary mode. And just as an example here at ePlan, we had to pivot from, in classroom training, and that's all we did, in classroom training and consulting with our customers, either at on their premises or at one of our locations, to completely virtual environment. So our virtual instructor-led training has been extremely successful. We actually made a promise to our customers that try it. If you don't like it, we'll reschedule you for an on-site training. This was early on at the time. And virtually nobody's taken advantage of that. Even as some of the restrictions lessened a little bit over time, everyone is very excited. And in fact, the feedback's been, we got really a lot out of this training, maybe more than an in-person, because it felt more one-on-one, more, it was faster to execute the training. So we didn't have to organize everyone getting to one location. And we got more one-on-one time with the instructor because it was virtual, and we could ask questions and we could have sidebars. And so we took really a quick reaction to this, pivoted very quickly, and what we found is this is the way forward. And we intend to do virtual training. We'll go on site or have our classroom trainings as the situation, hopefully, knock on wood, changes for us all. But virtual instructor-led training is going to be a big part of our future. When I think about and talk to customers about the challenges that they're having in their business, it's a lot of the same thing. How do we pivot really quickly? And there's been customers, a lot of customers come to us, we need to execute an automation project or change our manufacturing. We need to develop, start building face masks or face shields or whatever it was. So there was a lot of that. Even some people in the paper market had to build toilet tissue for a while because you all remember the shortages we had. So
Right.
it was a lot of customers were also going through their own pivot, and what we saw was the challenges that were always there got a little bit more exposed with this. So challenges in working remotely and staying on the same page, whereas you could have a meeting and sit side by side on a table and look over a set of drawings or review the PLC program. You now had to do that all virtually. And so it put some burden on their entire organizations to, and I'd say broader, at EPLAN, we talk about the ecosystem of industrial automation. It's really, all the players from the end user or operator that's running a factory to the OEMs and integrators that help them and whoever's building the electrical cabinets to the component and automation suppliers like Rockwell Automation to the channel like Revere. How do you keep all of those people in sync with each other? And so one of the things that we saw, and we've done a lot of, I guess, marketing around is the capabilities we have in the cloud. And we were building these from the beginning, but they became more important for certain customers, and the ability to have that environment and that digital thread with Rockwell in a cloud environment to be able to share that became extremely valuable. And we've seen a lot of customers recognize that, and I guess the whole COVID thing has really been a catalyst for change. A lot of customers were thinking of this, but business has its own momentum, and this was a disruptor thrust upon us. And now we're seeing customers really embrace that change and think about, how do we do this in the future? How do we change the way we behave? And so we've seen it in our own business, and we see it now in our customers' business as well.
Well, certainly, I mean, it certainly causes you to rethink what you're doing. I give, right when we signed the agreement, in March, April, that's when all the stay-at-home orders were hitting.
Right.
And so a lot of our customers are, the engineers are working from home. Revere Electric warehousing stayed fully functional. We're we are a company that was allowed to stay open because of supporting vital businesses, food,
An essential company. Yeah.
Essential business, correct.
Yep.
So our warehouses have stayed fully functional throughout. But other than that, everybody went remote, which put a lot of pressure on, like you said, the digital connectivity, Teams, and things like that. And so, but what I found exciting was when it came to sharing EPLAN's capabilities with customers. Özlem and I did a lot of Teams meetings with customers, and we were able to pull in resources from Michigan and from other locations that in some ways we've had more brain power at our customer meetings than maybe traditionally, right? You get a call, when are you guys coming in from Michigan? But because of stay-at-home orders and things like that, we can pull in a lot of resources, and we've had some great discussions and great demonstrations with customers. So that's a positive, right? The hard part is, and it has been a challenge, that when you're sitting across the table from somebody, you can see body language, and you can see, so there's a change that way. But like you said, moving forward, it'll probably be a nice mixture. I think nice mixture of in-person but also people are more open to digital types of meetings, Teams and WebEx. But the other thing that I think it does hit home is, you mentioned it, Jeff, the digitalization of processes, whether it be sharing information over the cloud, just sharing information with a common design architecture that's not spreadsheets and disjointed processes. Being able to share a design digitally, becomes seamless when engineers and panel manufacturers in different locations. So that part's been good, and I think we're positioned well to have those discussions with customers. You know, that this is an advantage for using EPLAN and partnering with EPLAN and Revere to as you mentioned at your engineering design ecosystem. So
that's right.
Yeah.
Well said.
So as we're about to wrap up here, one of the things that I wanted to talk about is the current trends in the automation industry, and I was wondering what you guys are seeing in terms of what trends you're seeing out there, and our mutual customers should be paying attention to. Jeff, you want to start us?
Yeah, I mean, the trends are, I kind of mentioned it before. There is a trend, and it toward the cloud. Certainly, there's a lot of customers that have a different viewpoint on that. But look at our own personal lives, where we've got our own banking in the cloud, for instance. So on a personal level, we're getting more and more used to it, and I think the USA as a country in particular is on the forefront of a lot of that technology. And so we see that as, a natural trend. Not everyone's there yet, but we're ready there at EPLAN. We're building more and more capabilities, and we see that as a long-term trend, and it just enhances the collaboration. If I look at today's environment, we email a lot of stuff back and forth, as Jim said, drawings and spreadsheets to execute an automation project. Is that secure? So you can, some people talk about the security piece, but I think it's a moving target, and this again is, I think, this situation is a catalyst for change. It enables a lot of customers to do that, to do a faster, which is really important. Certainly was important in the early days here, but it's always a challenge to do things at a faster pace. And so we see that as one of the key trends in the marketplace. And our goal is to be ready when our customers are ready. And we already have a lot to bring to bear. And working with a partner like Revere, I think helps us also to introduce that new technology and to talk them through their concerns, because people are rightly concerned about intellectual property and who has access to this, and and having a strong partner in the market that's a trusted advisor, like I said before, in Revere, makes all the sense in the world as customers are trying to figure that out for themselves. Yeah, one of the terms we use here at EPLAN is the digital twin. With our ProPanel part of our solution, we offer customers a way to very quickly and efficiently develop a 3D model of their panel. And what that allows is a lot of customers to then step into the automation of panel building. So maybe, Özlem, you could share a few thoughts about that trend in the marketplace.
No, that's so true, Jeff, because Jim, really, this too, especially in our conversations with our customers. We always talk about the time and cost savings, not during the design, but also in the panel shop as well, right? And digital twin is a way for companies to really virtually validate the enclosure that they're going to build before they actually build it, right? Make sure that all the spacing issues are taken into consideration. The doors will close. They'll see exactly how everything fits, but that's not where they really they need to stop. There's so valuable information captured both in the schematics and also the enclosure, the 3D enclosure layout that they can now use in production of that enclosure. So two of the ways that they can do is, and we're seeing many companies really considering, and quite a few of them actually have gone in this way, is to automate the enclosure modification. Because when they're using EPLAN, they can actually capture that drilling data in their 3D enclosure layout. And then this data can be exported out and then imported into a CNC machine, laser jet cutting machine or water cutting machine. And then, so that information, once it's imported into these equipment, then, the enclosures can be modified automatically in these equipment. So that's a lot of time and cost savings as opposed to doing things manually. And speaking of using manual methods when building enclosures, and I see this all the time when I walk into panel shops, that many companies are using all manual methods to fabricate their wires, right? Cut, strip, crimp, label, measure the lengths, and they don't really need to do that. They don't even need to look at the schematics to capture all that information. It all can be printed out for them in a report format, but for more automated processes, they can actually export all this information, wire fabrication information, out of EPLAN into their wire fabrication equipment. And so they don't have to manually enter this information, and certainly don't have to look through schematics. So these are, I think, the couple of trends that we're seeing, and panel builders really should look into more about it and consider to stay competitive, and in terms of saving time and cost on the panel shop.
That's right on the money, Aslam. I think, when I looked at panel building while I was inside Rockwell and now talking to all these customers, the numbers you'll see is that wiring, it represents about 60% of the cost of putting together an electrical panel. And so it's significant. And what you just described, I think, you can talk about a digital twin as a trend, but what's the value to the customer? And I think you pretty much nailed it. And they see that. And I think, Jim, you've seen that now that you've been interfacing with us together with the customers, that they see high value in this panel operations. Yeah.
And we're getting more and more requests for our panel modifications. We have in our warehouse in our facility in the Milwaukee area, we have a machine that allows somebody to send us panel modification information. And our usage is, we're seeing that go up.
Mm-hmm.
So seeing activity there. So good points, Osmond. We talked about one of them just before, the whole remoteness. So that's probably as big a trend that was maybe forced upon us,
Right.
The one I guess one I would highlight that we're seeing is, and I call it panel build strategies, however you want to phrase it. I think
Right.
the way that a OEM or a machine builder maybe used to do machines, they would probably focus to do it all in-house, right? They do their design and their panel builds. And I think that we're seeing panel build strategies evolve, change. People are buying fully assembled panels from a panel shop. People are still doing it in-house. People are doing a combination. Revere is heavily engaged in that whole panel build strategy, panel build, how to go from, again, concept to commissioning. We offer panel modification services. We have services in general, engineering services, design, some design services, and the ability to help with commissioning. And I think the more digital that you are, the easier it is to share information. And so we're seeing, again, I guess I just kind of summarize it with, I think how panels are built or how machines are actually built by an OEM is changing. It's people are having others do a lot more of the work, but even at a single OEM, it may be a mixture, where they do some in-house and farm some stuff out of house. So I think that's a big trend, and maybe that goes a little bit in line with just the general trend in the market about either aging workforce, aging engineering workforce, and just technical folks in general, that you're needing to leverage folks outside of your organization. And I think tools like EPLAN really help with that, for sure.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, thank you guys so much for having this great conversation. Thank you, everybody, for joining us today at EPLAN Live. If you have any questions, you can absolutely go to either of our booths at the Rockwell Automation Fair at Home, the EPLAN booth, or the Revere Electric booth, and we'll be happy to answer any questions that you have. Thanks for joining us, and stay tuned for the next one.
Thank you.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.